African American Vernacular English, or AAVE, is a variety of English that's primarily spoken by African Americans. AAVE developed during slavery in the United States, when enslaved Africans had to learn English under difficult conditions. They learned English from European colonists, poor white indentured servants, and Caribbean slaves who brought Creole languages from the islands with them. These different forms of English, standard, non-standard, and Creole blended over time, influenced by African languages and local speech, forming what today is known as African American Vernacular English. The dialect continued to evolve under segregation, as African American communities were socially and geographically separated from white communities. Over generations, AAVE developed its own patterns while staying closely related to other forms of English. It also continues to be adopted by new immigrant groups in the US. I personally have noticed Jamaicans, Dominicans, Nigerians, and Ghanaians who moved to the States or are first generation and speak AAVE. Now in this video, we'll discuss the distinct components of AAVE and what makes this dialect so unique. But before doing so, there are a few caveats. The first, not all AAVE speakers sound alike. How they speak is going to be influenced by region and age. The second is that not all AAVE speakers are black, and not all black people speak AAVE. I know it sounds crazy to some, but trust me, I lived in Miami for just under 6 years, and I knew many a black person who said things like, "I want to get a Frappuccino from Starbucks," sounded like some white girl from the Valley, and they were the furthest thing from AAVE. On the flip side, I knew a few non-blacks who sounded hella AAVE. So I know it should go without saying, but let me reiterate, not all black people in America speak AAVE, and not all AAVE speakers are black. Let's get into it. So the first difference between AAVE and standard American English is the grammar. Let's have a look at some verbs. Typically, is and are left out of sentences. Listen to this clip, for example.
I get away. Do you know what my mama said the first thing she did when she went down to pick my cousin up from juvenile? I know Charleston was with y'all. Where he at?
Notice how he said, where he at, and not where is he. You may also hear sentences like, you a funny dude, instead of you are a funny dude. Or he don't know what he talking about, instead of he doesn't know what he is talking about. Or something like, he over there, instead of he is over there. With AAVE, is and are dropped consistently. But remember, you can't drop is and are from the end of a sentence. For example, it is what it is. Now, the next grammar point that I want to touch on is the use of the habitual be. This is when AAVE speakers use be instead of is or are. For example, we be outside instead of we are outside. And that's cap, by the way. We don't be outside, we're inside recording content. In any case, listen to this clip to give you some more context.
All I should be going viral real quick, just so before I even get to the J Prince shit. All I should go viral so niggas never see how this started. They only see how it be getting finished.
Notice how he said how it be getting finished. Now the habitual be exists to indicate an action that's ongoing. And some other common uses include we be working, we be grinding, or they be over there. Let me know down in the comments if you've heard any of the three in the past. Now moving on to the use of the word stay, which is very similar to be in that it's intended to indicate that something's going on habitually. So for example, that boy stay active, that boy stay outside. Instead of he be outside, he be active, he stay active. It almost gives it an extra emphasis on the person doing something with frequency. Now, similar to the words stay and be, the word been is used to emphasize the fact that something has been a certain way for a very long time. Let's take the phrase, he been rich. This suggests that this person has been rich for a very long time. Now, I'd even argue that the word been is used a lot more than the word stay, especially in 2025. Let me know what you think in the comments below. So, the next grammar element that I'd like to discuss is the lack of number-person agreement. What do I mean? Let's take a sentence like, he don't know. Instead of he doesn't know, it's he don't know. Or they was acting tough instead of they were acting tough. You see the difference there? There's a lack in number person agreement, which in standard English isn't the case, but in AAVE, this can hold true. You may even hear a sentence like, he work over there. Not he works over there, it's he work over there. This wouldn't be true with standard English construction. Let me know your thoughts about this down in the comments below. Whilst there, if you're liking this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Now, let's discuss contractions when talking about the future. Things like I'ma, about to, gonna, and finna. Listen to this example.
They kept on back. Well, bruh, if we finna keep going back and forth, the next best thing is Let's get jiggy.
So notice how he said, if we finna go back and forth, let's get jiggy, instead of, if we're going to go back and forth, let's fight. In essence, the purpose of all of these contractions are to suggest that something's going to happen in the future. I'ma do this, like I'ma go out, right? Bout to, I'm about to go out. Finna, I'm finna get lit. Gonna, I'm gonna record a video. All of these things suggest that something is going to happen in the future. So the last grammar point that I want to touch on in this video is the use of the word ain't. Listen to this clip.
I'm grateful I'm not 56 and trying.
You tried to say that. What you tried to say?
I'm looking right at you. I'm grateful. I ain't backing down. You better take your old ass and get somebody to love you.
Damn, no.
Notice how he said, I ain't backing down, and not, I am not backing down, or I'm not backing down. The use of ain't is there to suggest that they won't do something. Now, let's move to pronunciation. But before doing so, let me caveat something. Obviously, not all AAVE speakers are going to pronounce things the same way because it depends on their region. But notwithstanding, there are some generalities, and that's what we're going to focus on in this video. So the first pronunciation point is that AAVE tends to be R-less, as in the R at the end of words tends to get dropped. So take a word like door, that can become do, or floor, that can become flow, or shore, that can become show. Even words like mother can become mother, or brother can become brother. You see how with AAVE, the R at the end of a word can get dropped and or changed to an O, an A, an AH, depending on how you like to spell things. The second pronunciation point that I'd like to note is that TH at the end of a word can sometimes become an F. Let's take words like south, north, or mouth. That can become south, north, or mouth. Listen to this clip.
But you did say G-Unit, I started my own gang back in the day.
Yeah, because that energy was there.
Yeah.
Like, I had to look, the youth, the younger, Charmaine, the younger dudes do not want to follow the older guys' path.
Notice how he said the youth and not the youth. Now, the next pronunciation point that I'd like to go over is the use of D instead of TH. So changing TH for D. Things like that becoming that, and things like this becoming this. Listen to this clip.
I ain't lose no sleep over none of
What
that shit.
inspired you to do BBL, Tracy? Do you really feel like you got a BBL?
Yeah,
You do.
yeah.
Why you feel like that?
Notice how he said, why'd you feel like that, and not why'd you feel like that. Now, the last pronunciation point that I'd like to mention are the silent consonants. Let's take a word like fast. In AAVE, you may hear fast, so the T at the end gets dropped entirely. Or even a word like past, that can become the pass, talking about the pass. And even a word like band can become ban.
Welcome back, guys. Helping you build your personal brand live. We're live. We're live. We're live.
So, needless to say, just because AAVE speakers pronounce things a certain way, it doesn't mean they can't speak standard American English. Usually, AAVE speakers can code switch effortlessly. That's what I've experienced in my life. Let me know what you've seen down in the comments below. Also, if you enjoyed this video, then go and check out my other video where I discuss AAVE versus multicultural London English up here. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.